Welcome back to the Layup Maker, week 4. We're talking about the ultimate ideal here of trying to be able to finish with any hand off of any foot anytime you need to. What I call making lemonade. When you're stuck in a tough situation, life gives you lemons. When you're under the basket, surrounded by defense, you need to come up with a finish. We want to have lots of options available to pull a rabbit out of a hat and make something happen out of it. So let's jump into the 3 big topics this week. One is going to show you kind of the mental framework that I've been working with. I call the finishing quadrant, just the 4 possible combinations of hands and feet, how those work together to give us really 3 finish combinations that we're going to use regularly. The new combinations of hands and feet from a couple of new angles around the basket. And then we're going to go into some fun stuff, the advanced counter moves. And like we've talked about in past weeks, some of these will depend on your skill level, your comfort level. Like as we progress so far, coach will kind of know which of these is going to be good next progression for you. Which of these, like, we'll just hold for later. Like we don't want to throw everything at you all at once, but if you're a fairly advanced player, we want to give you some more challenges, probably some new combinations, new moves that you probably haven't seen before or tried before. Put some more tricks in your bag. So let's start with going over the finishing quadrant. I just sketched this by hand. Been using this for a while now. Simplest way I have to explain it. So we have hands and we have feet. We have inside and we have outside. And the inside outside is really just determined based on your position around the basket. And one reason I started using this was because it universalizes your hands and feet related to the basket rather than saying right hand or left hand or right foot or left foot on different positions around the basket. We can say outside hand universally is our normal layup, and whether you're on the right or the left, you know which one to use. So there's 4 combinations. 3 of them are actually very useful all the time. One of them is kind of like a white elephant, something you could be aware of, but probably not really going to use in a game because it's just mechanically very difficult to actually use based on your positioning. So the standard layup first we have from inside foot, we're jumping off of, outside hand we're shooting with. The opposite is our outside foot we're jumping off of and our inside hand. What you've seen us do and have done now on the court with our Euro step action. When we Euro step from the middle of the court to the outside of the paint, we end up finishing with our inside hand. And then the last one, the new one for us this week, is our goofy foot, finishing off of our outside leg and using our outside hand. And the 4th one, again, the white elephant that doesn't really happen, is inside leg and inside hand. You can imagine if you're on your inside foot, you're pretty close to the basket, and using your inside hand really doesn't give you much space. You're basically underneath the rim. Not a lot of options where that one is useful. So we kind of just know that one's available, but we don't really work on practicing it because it's not that useful. So new combinations. Goofy foot, we're going to see first on film. Again, outside foot, outside hand. Really great for throwing off the timing of a shot blocker who's used to everybody doing the same standard number of steps, same standard hand and foot combination. When you suddenly shoot earlier or later by 1 step, they have a really hard time timing their jump to actually block you. Inside hand, we've seen again a little bit already from our Euro step, outside foot to inside hand. And then we're going to do 2 new angles from the baseline corners. And we're going to have the outside hand reverse. So you think about being in the corner on the baseline. The inside is now the hand closer toward the middle of the court, closer to the basket still. Our outside hand is the one closer to out of bounds. So our outside hand reverse comes from the outside baseline side of our body and turns. And the inside hand is the one that's kind of already under the rim if we just walked under the basket. And the inside hand is the one that most players are more used to. For whatever reason, that one gets adopted and used fairly frequently by the time you're in middle school. The outside hand tends to be somewhat less usual. So something you may not be comfortable with yet. We're going to show you some tricks to get it working for you pretty quickly. So let's take a look at video. First up is going to be our goofy foot. we talked about. So jumping off of outside leg and scooping with our outside hand. And then we can also do it as a push finish from our pizza pan position. Outside leg, and then inside hand is jumping from the same leg, outside leg and inside hand. Same thing on the left side. We're going to show the scoop, goofy foot, outside, outside, and the push finish. And then the inside hand, jumping left leg, shooting right hand. This is our outside hand reverse layup I was just talking about. And my favorite trick, as I'm pointing out here on the video, is toe to rim, or toe to free throw line, rather. Trying to turn our body first so that our shoulder angle makes the hand motion a lot easier. Inside hand was there with the right. And then we have an inside hand staying on the near side of backboard. And we can also do our standard floater. Repeating that from the other side, toe to free throw line, sets up our shoulders to hit the hand to the glass. We're able to run through that. That is our outside hand reverse. Our inside hand normal finish, staying on the left side, and our inside reverse. And then once again, our standard floater, just giving us another review rep from what we've worked on in past weeks. Working from our catch, we're going to start advanced moves next. I'm going to pause here and talk about what those look like before you see them on film. So the advanced counter moves, the first one we're going to do is what we call a swing step. Very common in the NBA. You'll see actually Jason Tatum does that fairly well, where our normal dribble timing is with our inside foot. Think about right hand, left foot when we dribble. That's our normal and allows us our normal two-step layup and Euro step and everything else we've kind of worked on. The swing step changes that dribble timing to dribble right hand and right foot together. And then the motion is somewhat like a Euro step. We're pushing off sideways as we change feet right out of the dribble. But because we dribble on our right foot, we now have a left and a right to get to the basket. So unlike a Euro step where our sideways motion ends the move, one step sideways and we're shooting it, the swing step takes a dribble first, and now we go sideways on the first step, and we get a second step to continue to the basket. So it becomes very useful. You get comfortable with that change up of dribble timing. You can often get the ball up through the defense as you change direction and create a whole different angle and timing at the rim. The second one we're going to see is a slide across, which is simply a Euro step with a goofy foot finish. So if you think about, again, from right to left, our Euro step would go right foot to left foot. Normally we'd want to shoot with our right hand to keep that opposite trajectory, opposite arm and leg, gives us the best reach and the best power. But here we're going under the basket as a Euro step, and we're going to use our goofy foot and a little bit of our spin finish we've been working on as a circle to finish on the other side of the rim. So it's a Euro right, left foot. We're jumping off with that left foot, finishing left hand. Third one is what we call a rondo. If you're familiar with Rajon Rondo, the player, he played for the Celtics at one point. He did this very, very well. He would stop with his toes to the sideline and pivot around to come up with a floater. And we're going to do that as a primary move. And then as a counter move, we do an up and under where we look like we're going to shoot the floater. And because we still have a pivot foot, we can step through the defender and reach the backboard. The next one is what we call the Gretzky, which is named after a hockey player, kind of famous for dribble or skating in this case, skating with the puck around the back of the hockey goal and scoring it in the front, kind of going behind the goalie's back and kind of popping out by surprise and coming up with a shot. So what we do is dribble underneath the backboard on the baseline around to the middle of the paint. We can end up with a floater or, again, an up and under step through move. Great way to not have to force up a shot right when you get to the basket. That defender's on your hip. You continue dribbling, circling them. You actually see guys like Steph Curry and Chris Paul do that once in a while in a game. They just throw the defense off by not trying to score right when they get to the rim, but instead circling another couple dribbles up into the paint and coming up with some space to shoot it. The last one we're going to see is a pro hop, which is kind of opposite of a Euro step in a lot of ways, where we're using our inside foot with the dribble, but we're also using that inside foot to pull us toward the middle of the paint. So if we're attacking right-handed, this one would go left foot to pull us into the middle of the paint to our left. And we're going to do kind of a 90-degree rotation with the ball on our shoulders to put the ball away from the defense and come up with somewhat of a floater push motion right at the front of the rim. We're going to do that from a variety of angles. The video, we're going to just show one angle so you kind of get the idea. You can mentally walk it through before we hit the court. Right, so coming out of our catch, we're trying to apply our footwork here. This is our swing step. We are dribbling with right foot and then pushing across to go left. Second one is our slide across. We're going Euro step style right to left and finishing goofy foot style with the left hand on the left side of basket, jumping off the left foot. Next, we have the rondo and an up and under here. So we're stomping toes to sideline and pivoting, and we can pivot again if that defender overplays it. Gretzky here is circling underneath the basket, coming around to the middle of the paint for a floater. And Gretzky again with the counter move. We're going to stop, and up and under is the move there to step through to the backboard. Rondo again here, just straight floater, so without needing the counter move. And then we have our pro hop. So again, dribble timing is important here. We're going to dribble with the left foot and hop onto 2 feet to get into our shot. So summarize week 4, trying to get any hand, any foot, anytime. The finishing quadrant, just a great way to think about what are the possible combinations, and 3 combinations are normal. We can apply those from a lot of different angles around the basket, from both sides of our body, and suddenly we have a huge combination pool of tricks that we can pull from and make all kinds of different things happen when we're near the basket. And then our advanced counter moves, just looking at more different ways to change direction, a couple different timings of our dribble, really just kind of completing the combination that we started talking about of importance of ball handling and finishing together. You can't get past your defender with your ball handling, you don't have a chance to finish. And if you can't finish, then all the ball handling in the world doesn't help you. So we're trying to get those mix and match together, give you combinations that you can play with, work on the driveway, and eventually apply against a live defense. That's it for week 4. We look forward to seeing you on the court and seeing you in our next course soon.